Crypto God here, and today we have Real Trump Token. This is the first time we've had 4 guests in the same room, which is pretty exciting to me. We have Dura, Parker, Jack, and Nuz. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Hey, thank you.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Hello, everyone. Cheers.
It's really good to have you guys. You guys are the first political-based currency and project that we've had here on the show. And it's very interesting what you guys are aiming to do. Now, as far as, we're going to touch on it much later, but what's the general idea behind Real Trump Token?
So Real Trump Token is the first politically backed mainstream cryptocurrency. 1% of all transactions goes to a locked wallet for Donald Trump's campaign funds and re-election efforts in 2024. That wallet will be unlocked in 2023. There's also rewards back to holders. 2% for any transaction goes back to holders. Basically what we are is we're the first cryptocurrency that's going to be working towards bettering a party.
Fantastic. So what we have here, all right, is they have a long-term goal, right? So it's safe to say you guys are going to be around for at least 3 years.
Yes, this is a long-term project. We do plan on sticking around for a long time. All of our devs doxed before our pre-sale went even live. So we're planning on sticking around and building this thing really big. I think that the amount of support just around political movements and crypto, it's never been combined before. I think together we're looking at something special here.
You know, I think it is a truly unique project. I think it really, really is. You know, these are some nice pictures of you guys with the American flag. You know, it's very, very tasteful. It's quite nice. Now, you mentioned the tokenomics. Dura, if you want to help us break down the tokenomics a little bit so we can really get into the nitty-gritty of this project.
Yeah, so every transaction that occurs on pancakeswap, which is the decentralized exchange, the buyer will, or the seller, they'll pay a 10% tax. That 10% tax is distributed. 3% goes back to the liquidity pool. 2% goes to all the holders, distributed based on their holdings. And then 1% of that will go to a locked wallet for re-election efforts for Donald Trump in 2024. And then 4% goes to the utility marketing wallet for further innovation and advertising.
Well, there you go. So you got the tokenomics into place. There's a lot of different utilization for it that you guys are doing, which is a good sign, because it always concerns me when, like, I've had some projects on in the past, right? And they didn't even know their own tokenomics. Like,
Yeah, that's not us. We did everything from the ground up. We've been working on this project for I've had this idea for about 3 months now. I've been working on it with this team for about 2 now.
well, that's a good idea, man. It's a good idea to get together, have some passion, and then actually take a little bit of time beforehand to really, put it together. Because
there's hundreds of projects now made every single day on DeFi, just new projects with random names, and they have no utility. Every single day there's hundreds of new ones.
Right. Yeah, that's something that a lot of coins are having a hard time with, is figuring out utility, right? Like, these are conversations I have with people all day. Are like, oh, we're trying to find a use case for it. And I actually, I'm planning a currency myself, and I already have one use case set up, and we're not even into the development stage. And I already have the use case confirmed. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me how unprepared a lot of these people go into these projects.
Yeah, and that's something that we wanted to completely avoid. We worked on this very hard. Our white paper was done before the project was even released. We took this thing very, very seriously.
And we see that too. We see a lot of they go live and they launch, and there's not even a white paper available. Which
how would you know what they're actually working towards if they're saying their white paper is going to be released 2 weeks after they're already out?
To me, that's a red flag, right? If they don't have a white paper and they've already launched and they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in liquidity. Like, you have to have some baseline of what the is going on Like, you have to. So the fact that you guys have these things put together and you're giving it real care should be a real confidence builder for your holders and the people that you're looking to bring in to the crypto community. Now, on the topic of bringing people into the crypto community, now, Jack, you guys had talked about this grassroots movement, right? Let's break that down a little bit.
So it's important to us to bring crypto people into politics and to bring political people into crypto. See, at the moment, you've got, 46 million Americans invested in Bitcoin. And so that's out of a population about 328 million. So that's about 14% of Americans invested in Bitcoin. So if you take the 74 million people that have voted for Donald Trump in the previous election, take that down to 14%, that's over 10 million people. So if we're able to engage even a fraction of that in crypto, we've not done badly. And that'll really help his election efforts come 2024.
Well, we've seen how powerful reflections can be and how powerful these small percentages can be in other projects. 1% on all transactions to go into a wallet over the period of 3 years. That's a lot of money.
Yes, and if you look at the way that Democrats versus Republicans actually donate, Republicans don't donate the same way that Democrats do. I know people see Republicans as really rich, but if you compare the Democratic donations to the Republican donations these last campaign years, it's a dramatic difference. The Democrats are spending billions more on their campaigns than the Republicans are. So if we can get a fraction of these Republicans who are die-hard Trump fans to not only put in for Trump, but for the American First movement, which is what we're working towards to try and just to make some changes. And if we can get even a fraction of that, and even it doesn't matter what party you're in, this is the first real grassroots crypto political movement. And if you want to get involved, it doesn't matter what party you're in, you're a part of something really special.
Now, I do have a question for Jack. I gotta ask it. Jack, you're in England, bro.
I am, yeah.
What the are you doing here, man?
Well, you'd be surprised. Donald Trump's loved over here because obviously, we voted to Brexit the other year. And if you're to pick Biden or Trump to give us a good trade deal and, help us through Brexit, you're not picking Biden and the Democrats. No chance.
Gotcha. Because,
and
as
also,
soon as I heard your voice, bro, I knew my audience was like, what the is a British motherfucker doing?
Mate, we've got Boris. We love a controversial figure.
It's just you get the raised eyebrow, right?
Exactly. See, that's also what's going to help us tap into the meme market of this token,
right?
Because you leave the US and you've got millions of people that love Trump for his complete brutal honesty.
Yeah, there's other words for it too, right? But yeah, brutal honesty. Of course, I try to, when dealing with presidents and things of that nature, I tried to remain as neutral as possible on this program because you kind of have to, right? Like, you can't just walk around and slap your on any project or any opinion that you fully believe in, right? Because I don't have my political leanings very, very publicly. Now, the interesting thing with this very specific project is you kind of have to talk about it enough because there's questions, right? So Parker, let's get through these little tough questions real quick if we can, right? About where the team stands on the stuff that some people had major problems with in the past, because I know you guys are looking to the future, not necessarily looking behind you, but they want to see what your guys' vision is and whether or not you condone specific things, right? So, for instance, Trump in the past, with his views towards, say, women in the LGBT type community and stuff like that, right? What's your stance on all that stuff, man?
So I can't speak on what Trump has said in the past. I mean, we've all heard those recordings. He said what he said. I mean, I think we've all heard some locker room talk in the past from our friends. But the thing is, I I don't know how much I truly believe that. I think the press paints him in a very, very, very bad light on purpose. And they censor him and they do all of these things on purpose because they just don't like him. There's just like this massive movement of Trump. And at this moment, I mean, I think that that Biden's going to ruin the American economy very soon here. I think the dollar is going to be worthless. I think crypto is the future. I think the only person and the only people who can come in and fix this is the Republican Party. And I think we do need Trump back. I think that he can fix this mess that's been caused. Inflation is going through the roof. Things are going to be worth way more than they are. Like, I think in 2 years, the paper dollar is going to be like at least worth half its value.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there. Hyperinflation is a very proven tactic for the war machine and for like trade wars and like that, you know? Like, we talked about it. We talked about market manipulation for one podcast like last week, and YouTube deleted my channel. We got it back, right? Because I made a very public statement about it, and they're like, "Oh no, we can't be exposed like this," and they gave me back my right? But like, it's hyperinflation's a real issue. It is.
Can I circle back?
Yeah.
To the, just to add a little bit more. See, at the moment, it's Pride Month this month, and we're incredibly inclusive in our community. So any comment that is out of line, far right, sexist, anything like that, we've got a no tolerance policy. You get banned straight away. We don't put up with it. We've got women in our group. We can't be having stuff like that.
Yeah, we have two lovely women who are on our development team, and they are one of the two who have chosen not to dox. Who have chosen not to dox just because of this political climate, right. and all the threats that our team has even been receiving now. Like we've received threats just because of the nature of our token. And I don't think that's okay, just because of how someone stands politically, that you can attack them for who they are.
Right. And I completely agree with that. And because of the very polarizing nature of your project, I had to do some soul searching, right? Because the very big difference about my platform and a lot of other crypto platforms is this is not a shill, right? This is not something that people are paying for. This is not a direct endorsement. I am simply kind of investigating and filling stuff out. So it's very good to see that you guys are actually taking people's rights and how they feel into account in your communities. That's a really good sign, because that's the future that you see with that presidency, right? Like, you want to see that preserved.
Oh, hell yeah, I want to see inclusivity. I do not care who you are, what you look like, who you like. You're welcome in my community.
So it's fair to say that you guys aren't like, neo-Nazis or alt-right bastards or whatever.
I'm Jewish.
Hell no. No, I mean, this movement is just more than that also. I mean, we need to get back, as a world in general, back to respecting people. Like, we're all human beings. We all bleed red. And, there's a certain level, I think, of respect that, needs to be naturally given to anybody. It's there's a lot of things that this team feels that we need to get back to the core roots of being humane to each other, saying thank you, holding the doors for people, and just showing respect for other people's opinions and views. It's like we live in a society now where there's so much censorship, and, right. You can't have an opinion. Like, I think I can speak for the whole team when we say that, we respect everybody for them being human and who they are and what they do and what they believe in. That's their choice and their opinion, and we need to get back to that. And that's part of this also, just respecting everybody for who they are and their beliefs, and, moving along and making changes for the better moving forward. And the past is in the past.
The past is in the past. Absolutely. And I think it's a really powerful thing too. That's why I wanted to touch on this stuff, because, for those naysayers that want to attack you, they'll listen to this and be like, oh, they're not about that racist shit. They're not about that sexist shit,
Yeah, absolutely not.
And that's why, I don't give, if I endorse something, it's because I 100% support it, and based upon my political stance on this platform, I can't endorse the project very directly, but I can say you guys seem like good dudes.
Thank you. I just want to add, we're definitely not far right. And just like you have bad apples on the right, far right, you got the same thing on the far left leaning. I would say that we're closer to center. We're reasonable guys and girls here. So, we believe in equality. We believe in the freedoms of speech and everything that everybody else would generally agree upon within America. And I think that if we were all sitting together in a room discussing these matters, I don't think that would be something that we would disagree about. So, I just wanted to chime in a little bit. I've been listening to you guys, so That's all.
And that's a good thing, right? Like we have to really look at kind of like just the facts of things. You know what I mean? And so the last thing I really want to touch on, because it was one of those things of, remember when like there was that thing that happened after the election where a bunch of people kind of sieged the White House, kind of, right?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of mixed feelings about that, right? And so pretty much when it comes on to like radical, because that to me was kind of like it was kind of a radical action, right? I didn't really feel like it was a beneficial thing for anybody, for people to act that way, because it caused a lot of fear, right? There was a lot of fear on all sides.
Yeah, like there's never a place for, violence. It's just not, it shouldn't be here. There's a lot of people.
If you stormed the Capitol, you are a traitor to the United States government and to the United States.
And to the people of this country, there's a lot of things that happen. And like Nez kind of said earlier, there's good and bad on both sides of the spectrum. And I think we can all agree that there are bad people that just make bad choices, and it ruins the whole group in general. They get kind of lumped together, and that's not acceptable. And we need to change that and get people to move away from that. Violence isn't the answer, and that's just unacceptable. Right. You can't hold everybody accountable for the actions of a few bad ones, right? So
I do find it slightly frustrating how people attribute it to just Trump as well. And then they talk about in the media how sexist comments and stuff. You don't hear people talking about the historic low employment rate, the 7 million people lifted off food stamps, the 61% of Americans feeling better off after 3 years of Trump's presidency. You just keep getting blasted with all of this nonsense. And I was thinking back the other week to all the work that Trump did with North Korea. That never gets mentioned anymore, ever.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was having this talk with my mom, right? Because she had a rough day and there was some family arguments. It's like, they don't even see everything I've done for them, right? Like, yeah, it's like that all those times I followed the law and then I stabbed someone in the face one time and then they want to put me in prison and only focus on that. That's the problem with like social memory. We can do a lot of good things, but when there's a lot of cloudiness, those things can get forgotten, because we as creatures, as human animals, so to speak, we look at threats and we assess things, and we more often pay attention to what we consider a threat more than we.
I think we also look at sensational headlines. Like, it picks up so much more coverage in the news to have an anti-Trump headline than to have talking about something positive he's done. Right. It's just what it is. It's clickbait.
Now, the thing that Jack talked about earlier, liked a blunt individual, right? The last thing I want to touch on this before we move on to the next topic is really like there were a lot of people that felt like he should have brought a touch more of decorum and professionalism and consideration to the office, right? Where do you guys stand on that?
I think that he lowered unemployment rates and was one of the best presidents the United States ever had, and I think he was very professional.
I think. Shall I? In the UK, we constantly listen to our politicians talking absolute nonsense and not answering a direct question. They would literally, waffle on for 10 minutes going around the houses before they just say the word yes. And Donald Trump said yes. He'd tell you exactly what was going to happen. It's so underrated, that quality.
Right. I think maybe if he would have just worded things a little different, he would.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Yeah,
I
of course he
think-
would have done.
100%. There were things that he said that were out of line, and of course, but I feel like that's something that might be a quality we need in a president. I think now other countries don't take us seriously. I think people said that other countries took us as a joke when Trump was president. No, they didn't. They took us more serious than ever because they knew that he was serious about everything he said and he meant it, and that he was going to tweet about it. He was going to keep talking about it until it happened. He was about it.
Now, Jack, is that perception
Yes.
true?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like right now everyone thinks Biden's a joke. Like we all think he's lost his marbles. It's only a matter of time before Harris is president. It's completely true.
I think we need, like, personally, I think we need maybe less old presidents.
Yeah,
I think we should lower
there needs
the
to be a
age. I
limit.
think we need some 25-year-old presidents who can actually run a country.
I think, like, you should be able to run at
Maybe
least
not
a mile.
25.
Be able to run a mile and do math fluently.
I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like 35 is too old still. It's like they're not caught up with the younger generation's way of thinking, and that's what.
I
That's
think
what the real
between 35 and 40, because here's
Yeah,
the
I
reason for
agree.
like the 35, maybe 30 at the youngest, because I remember what I was like when I was 25, and I know where I'm at now. Those 5 years made a big difference.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's part of like brain development in males. Like, brains aren't like fully developed till we're like 25, 28, some bullshit like that. And then on top of that, like, we now have to learn how to operate life with fully developed brains. So I think brain development needs to go into place. I think there needs to be some more cognitive tests that go into picking a leader. I think like they really need to I think there should be a battery of tests to see how suitable you are as far as like cognitive tests, reasoning skills before like candidates are chosen. Personally, I think like we need to be a bit more thorough with our candidates and not just career politicians. Personally.
Yeah, I think that's why Trump was so appealing, because he wasn't a career
He
politician.
was outside of the box. He was what people wanted, like something that wasn't cut and sew, and someone who thinks they know what everyone needs, but really they're just going for the best interest of them.
Right. Now, back to your project. Now, I hear your guys about to list onto an exchange.
Yes, we're about ready to be listed on Bitmart.
Ooh.
By the end of June, towards the end of June, the later part, they'll announce the official date. So that's something to look forward to. All the back end stuff's done, so now it's just the listing date and live trading for everybody, and it works out really well that it's going to make it easier for these people that haven't been into crypto to be able to go to Bitmart and pay and buy crypto right there on Bitmart and be able to trade the real Trump token right there versus the USDT. That's going to be the trading pair, the first one. So it's going to bring an element there to make it easier for not just Trump supporters getting in, but anybody that really hasn't been in crypto before. It's going to make it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Which is key. It's key for our project because, of course, we're trying to bring the political people into crypto. So having a one-stop shop where they can buy all their crypto, their real Trump token, it's perfect for what we need.
Right, because that's the inclusivity that you're able
Exactly.
for, which is great.
Yeah, they could just plug in their credit card and buy. It gives us access to let these new crypto users that we're trying to reach. I don't think we've even mentioned our partnership in this interview. We actually haven't.
We haven't.
We have our partnership with IA, which is Influencing America. They do the marketing for Today is America and Turning Point USA, if you know who they are. So they do some of the marketing for the biggest Republican social media pages out there. They took over our social media. They're doing our marketing. They just redid our website. If you go to realtrumptoken.com, you can see their lovely work. It looks amazing. They updated our logo. They are some of the best of the best. We're actually doing an AMA with them later today. I think we're going to have that recorded, so I'm not sure when this is getting uploaded, but if you missed it, it'll probably be pinned in our Telegram chat. It's a really big deal because these guys have connections to campaigns. They have over 240 influencers with an average of over 100,000 followers. They reach over 40 million people, and that's not including the other pages that they're reaching out to for us to advertise So they're very well connected in the Republican space, and we're going to be promoting some rallies for them and doing a bunch of things. I think you're going to see a lot about us in the news here pretty soon.
Well, there you go. It's quite exciting. Now, Parker, what's the end goal of all of this?
So the end goal of all of this, of course, is we want to, get Donald Trump back in office, use these funds to help towards his reelection. If he does end up not running, I know that's been a concern of some of our holders. They will go to whoever he endorses. We're going to be supporting the America First movement as well. So there's going to be some donations coming soon to that. And basically, the America First movement is just they support Republican causes, and they're not too alt-right leaning or anything like that. But they support the causes that we're behind. And we're going to not only our goal is not to make America great again, but to help make altcoins great again.
Well, there you go. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This was awesome. Thank you.
It's a great time.
And, for everybody at home, you got to, always do your own research. This interview is more just looking into what Real Trump Token is about. I hope that it was informative to you so that you can start doing some of your own research and make your own decisions. Of course, this is not a political endorsement by any means, nor does it constitute financial advice. Now, with that being said, you got to like, comment, and subscribe and share to all of your friends and ring the bell so you can make sure to be in the know for all these new cryptocurrencies that are coming to you every single day, because we are the only non-shield crypto platform. Now, the last thing you need to do when you get some Real Trump token is HODL that shit!